It's Wulf, and I have returned with another Mac Mini. A while ago, I did a video very similar to this one where I tried some video game stuff on a late 2009 Mac Mini, I think it is, and this one is a 2014 Mac Mini. I got this recently, well, I'll get into that in a minute, but I got this semi-recently for a pretty good price, and I actually have legitimately been using it aside from the gaming stuff because I don't really game on here at all, but I've been using it to edit some videos. So anyway, though, it was a whole long process getting this computer set up. It took me forever to get this thing working, and it took me so long, and I want to explain it to you guys that I'm actually going to record some audio separately and then like overlay that over some pictures or drawings or something to explain the very long process I had to go through of getting this set up and working. So now that I have explained the very long process of stuff that I had to go through to get this computer working properly, it's time to play some games and stuff on it. Also, I wanted to note, this video, I'm trying a whole handful of new things alongside this new Mac Mini. I am trying a different setup in a few ways. I reorganized my room recently and sort of built myself like a cubicle. And I don't know how much that will actually show through in the videos since you guys don't really ever see real life stuff in my videos, but it should make it easier for me to get videos set up because everything's in a closer proximity now. And I'm also using a different software to record this video because I was running into some issues with using my Elgato HD60S with the one Elgato software, so I used it with a different one, so it's using a different software, so if stuff sounds different or whatever, that's probably why. Anyway, so when I first got this video idea, I reinstalled Call of Duty 4 and Prey from discs like I did on that 2009 Mac Mini I covered a while ago, and the issue is, I didn't realize this version of Mac OS doesn't support 32-bit apps. I didn't realize that was a thing for the 2014 Mac Mini. I thought that whatever the newest version of Mac OS would be for this, that this computer was old enough that it probably wouldn't update far enough to lose the 32-bit support or whatever. I don't know, it just didn't even cross my mind. So I went ahead and I installed this and can't run Call of Duty 4. But Call of Duty 4, I had some issues with this in the 2009 Mac Mini video also with it was asking for a serial key but not actually giving me anywhere to put a serial key, so this might not have worked anyway. But Prey did work on the other Mac Mini, and it doesn't work here because of the 32-bit app thing. So unfortunately, both of my physical Mac games don't work on this Mac Mini. Now, I installed Steam though, and the other thing too is there's like not that many Steam games that I have that work on here either, but there is a handful, so I downloaded a few, and I haven't really tested that many. I've got like 4 downloaded, and I played around with 2 of them, and they worked properly, so we'll kind of see what happens. Oh, also, my currency is still set to the UK because I just haven't bought anything on here in a while. So anyway, if I switched over to Mac, these are all the games that it says are compatible with this Mac, with it being on Mac OS and on a version of Mac OS that doesn't support 32-bit apps anymore. So, not that many games, and honestly, I'm kind of surprised with some of the games that are not supported, and also surprised by some of the games that are supported, like Double Action Boogaloo. So, I think, well, the best place to probably start is with one that didn't seem to want to work earlier, which is Krunker. I don't know why Krunker wasn't working, but Krunker wouldn't load, and then I also tried the web browser version of Krunker, and it was really slow, which is kind of odd, because this computer isn't, I mean, it's like 10 years old or whatever, but Krunker is very low resource usage, so I don't know why it was, I was just surprised to see that it wasn't working at all. So it's been a little bit of time, and Krunker has not done anything. So I'm going to go ahead and exit out. And like I said, I did try the web browser version of it as well, and that just ran super slow. So Krunker, weirdly enough, kind of unplayable. But one game that I do know works is Combat Master. So Combat Master I covered in a 15 First Impressions pretty recently, and I actually covered Krunker in 15 First Impressions too. But Combat Master is like Krunker, it's just kind of a more serious version, I guess. This works fine. I put the settings on the lowest settings possible just to make sure the frame rate was alright, and this plays pretty much fine, which is very cool. So that's I mean, it's a modern game that works on here, which is nice. And Combat Master is pretty fun. In my 15 first impressions I did of it, I gave it a pretty good review overall, because it's pretty much a mobile game, but it's not bad. So I'll play a little bit of this, and then we'll go ahead and move on to some of the other stuff. I've also got Tomb Raider. I don't remember which one. I think it was the 2013 Tomb Raider, the like remaster or like redux thing that they did. I've got that installed, and I did open that and play with the benchmark a little bit, and it seems to run okay. So we'll see how that plays. And then I've also got BioShock 2 Remastered. Original BioShock 2 wasn't available, which, again, kind of one of those odd things. So we'll see if BioShock 2 Remastered plays. I'm not really thinking it'll work the nicest with this, but we'll find out. I'm very curious to see how the audio levels balance out on this video as well, because I haven't changed anything from defaults, and it looks like the game might be kind of loud, but we'll see. It looks like this 4K capture utility software that I'm using instead this time seems to let you record audio separately, so I could like rebalance it out later on, possibly. I'm actually doing surprisingly well in Combat Master for not the ideal setup here, because this is, well, I mean, honestly, I've just got it set up like a normal desktop right now, but I just don't have that much room to move my mouse around. When I reorganized everything is like in a good spot now for like accessibility to all of my games and computers and stuff like that, but I still need to work on this cubicle setup here quite a bit. A bunch of the enemy team is like not really moving around, so it is kind of a shame that I don't have it's kind of weird that I don't have as many games to show in this video of Mac Mini gaming as compared to the other one, given that that was an older computer. But I am kind of glad that this time around at least one of the games so far is running pretty well, because last time I did this type of video with the Mac Mini stuff, none of the games really ran that well. So like, this is, you could actually legitimately play Combat Master on a 2014 Mac Mini without issue. It runs perfectly fine. So anyway, that was Combat Master. Let's hop into another game. I think the next one, let's do a Double Action Boogaloo. I haven't actually even tried to boot this. I don't know if it will really work or not. It's a really strange one. Okay, it might just have crashed right off the bat. Okay, yeah, Double Action Boogaloo, even though it shows up in this list, doesn't work. I was gonna say that seems very odd if it did, because, like, really? Of all the games, Double Action Boogaloo? I guess let's go to Tomb Raider next, because this seems like it will work. The benchmark seemed to be going at a pretty okay clip. The textures and stuff were pretty low, but it seems like this will be playable. I've actually never played this Tomb Raider. I've actually really never played any Tomb Raider games, so this will be pretty much my first time playing it in general. I don't know how much story this starts out with, but I'm just going to kind of skip everything to get into the gameplay as much as I can. Okay, so I noticed my microphone was off for a good second there while I started recording. Anyway, so now we're in Tomb Raider. The game appears to have defaulted to like 720p at still 60 FPS, but with like normal settings. So while my microphone was accidentally off, what I had been saying was I've not actually played like any Tomb Raider games before, and I don't really know why. I've heard pretty much only positive things about this one and the sequel or sequels that it has. I just haven't really ever gotten around to it, I guess. Okay, now I'm actually playing. We're moving Laura around. I feel like I remember seeing this intro somewhere, but this is legit my first time ever playing the game. and we're gonna want to swing her over there to burn the rope. That, okay, yes, that was, wait, was that the right thing to do? Maybe not? I can't tell yet. That looks like a bad time. This is a interesting start to this game. Why couldn't I have had like a racing game or something that worked on Mac? Anyway, though, as for actual performance, the game is performing pretty much normal. I mean, I can't tell if it's actually running at 60 FPS, but it's running smooth enough to play. And the graphics seem like PS3 level, which is fine. So it's not bad.
That was loud.
It'd be nice to get to some combat, but I don't know how far along that is, and I don't want to spend like too much time on this game, and I don't really want this video to be super long either. Q to examine the environment. But yeah, this is playing pretty dang well. I mean, this is not like if this was if it was actually 2014 right now, because this game came out in 2013 if I remember right. So if this game came out and then I had bought like this Mac Mini new in 2014, and this was the way that I was gonna play Tomb Raider, this is not bad. This is, I could play through it like this. I can't really hear anything though because the way I'm recording, I just have my TV that I'm using as a monitor just totally muted because I didn't think to put headphones on or anything. So I cannot hear a thing that is actually happening in the game right now. I can tell that she seems to be having a very bad time. Q to highlight objective beacons. Yeah, that makes sense.
More fire. Thank God.
Alright, anyway, it's been about 7 minutes of playing Tomb Raider, and I don't really feel like puzzle solving right now, so mostly that was just to check out the graphics and how it ran, and it runs pretty dang well. So I'd say that's a pretty good success. I remember I've heard before, I don't remember who it was. There's this dude on YouTube that's been like getting a lot of views on his shorts. I'll have to leave a link to his channel or whatever in the description because I'll be able to figure it out afterwards. But he has a short, and like I've heard it from other places as well, that one of the things with Mac games, the reason why not a lot of games are released on Mac, even though they're pretty good hardware usually, I guess, is just because there's like so many extra steps to make things run on Mac OS. By the way, hopping into BioShock 2 now. And I guess it's just like, it's one of those things where it's so much extra work for just such a small audience that there's not that many games that, oh, it's Feral again. Those are the same people that it popped up for Tomb Raider. Sorry, this computer does not meet minimum requirements. You may be able to play the game, but I likely see graphical issues. Okay, that's kind of what I expected. Magic mouse and trackpad. Fire using the V key? Mac is not supported. You may, okay, yeah, you already warned me about that. Okay, yep, I've seen that before. All right, now that we're in here, let's turn off as many things as we can. Okay, this is gonna look weird, but I'm gonna change the graphics settings to be as low as possible just to get as good of a frame rate out of this as I can. This looks like it might run. It might have even run at 720p. I think it just would have been slow. It's taken a good amount of time to load, which is not necessarily a good sign, but it is also the very first time this is ever loading into BioShock 2, so that could be part of it. Ah, there we go. Space to continue. Alright. I actually just recently played through the entire BioShock series for grad school, of all things. It was part of my dissertation. I think I've probably said this before other places, but did a dissertation on books and video games, and there's a BioShock book, so it was perfect sort of thing to write about. Oh my god, you play as a Big Daddy in the second game? Isn't that crazy? Wow. Okay. So far it's running okay, but the resolution is crusty, so that's not super great. I can still read everything though. It's not like it's too low for me to like read everything and understand like what is being said to me. Okay, I put the graphics back on 720p and the game is definitely running slower, but it is it's not that much. It's just stuttering more now though. Let me see here. Let me try a nice middle ground resolution that's still widescreen though. Well, actually, no, that seems to be working okay now that's been in that resolution for a second.
I need this. Do you hear me?
I own so many copies of BioShock. I've never meant to own so many copies of BioShock, but I own so many copies of BioShock and BioShock 2 and BioShock Infinite. Alright. Well, okay, and the V thing does work. So the V instead of right click thing that they were saying works, but I have a mouse that has right click, so I can actually right click. Yeah, this is kind of like Tomb Raider in that I think you could play through this like this. You would probably want to lower the resolution a little bit more, or like mess with some of the other settings, but it's am I out of electrical? It is not bad, and I think you could play through the whole game on a Mac Mini like this. It is weird though that the original BioShock 2 doesn't show up, but BioShock 2 Remastered does. But I mean, yeah, it's working. Even though it was saying that it didn't meet the minimum specs, it still is playable, and even at that really low resolution, the text was readable and stuff. So I mean, it's not like the bestest way to play through the game, but it's a doable way to play through the game. And again, if it was, I don't know, whatever year BioShock 2 Remastered came out, and this was the only thing that I had that I could play it on, like, I wouldn't be complaining too much. So, I think that's enough of BioShock 2 also, because I just wanted to mess around and show how games ran and stuff. Before I end the video, I do want to show you guys what I actually have been using this for. So, I got this Mac Mini for more than just to play around with like that other one I got. I actually have legitimately been using this for something, which is I've been using it to edit playthrough stuff. So, I've only edited one playthrough on here right now, but I edited through my Colin McRae Dirt playthrough, and I did all of the editing on here for the playthrough and the long play. And even the thing is, this computer actually has a very similar processor to my main computer right now that I use. So it took longer to export because I think it's like a slightly older version of that processor. But I mean, Macs are just good at like video and photo and even audio editing and stuff. And so it works really well for that, because then when I have these really long videos that I've got to export like I do with these playthroughs, I can just set it up on here, edit it, set it to export, and then just leave it in the corner of my room and not even have to worry about it. And it doesn't take up my main computer for however many hours it takes to export, which is super, super nice. And actually, I've been considering, I want to get a new computer at some point. I've actually been considering getting an iMac, which I think would help with productivity. You can't really game on it that much, but I mostly play on consoles anyway. So anyway, though, that is pretty much it for the video. Thank you guys for watching. Thanks for looking at my little journey into playing some video games on this 2014 Mac Mini. And I will see you in other stuff in the future, and bye-bye.